So let's go ahead and dive into these Instagram questions. It's always a little weird throwing the old IG Q&A out there for relationship stuff. You never quite know what you're going to get.
Yeah,
also,
always a little risky.
Let us know what you think. We're going to do Q&A episodes, but we're going to do it both sitting on the same side of the table because I like sitting next to my lady friend, and it's easier for us to, share things on the table. Question number 1. Well, we'll phone this one in. 12 twin. Do y'all ever work out together? I think this is actually probably surprising for most people.
I think I might have got this one once or twice too. Yeah. Matt prefers to work out alone. And we are both training in pretty different ways right now.
Also, let me be really clear. Not do I just prefer to work out alone. I prefer there to be no one in the gym. It's not like I don't want a training partner.
It's not just me or a training partner, but I mean, you trained alone for how long in your garage gym? 10 years.
And I didn't ever during that time span think that the alone part was the part I really liked.
But
I just trained that way because I hated inconvenience of training partners and time. Plus I was traveling so much still for outside sales that it was just easier to be like, got 2 hours.
Yeah, and that was your time.
Yep.
Like, it makes perfect sense. So it's not just he's anti-training with me or anti-training partner. It's just convenience. And then when you moved to St. Louis and you didn't have your own gym, you realized how important
I just couldn't get into it.
Yeah.
It really, really struggled for the 2 years we were here. I rode my bike a lot because at least that was something I could do outside by myself. Mm-hmm. And then... then we got dope. But I never consistently trained at 9 for 9 or at the lab.
Yeah. And both of us, can be kind of limited in what we're able to do. And our goals are really different right now. I do love it when we are able to train together and do the same thing. I think it's super fun.
I do too.
I've always liked group training or training with a training partner. So I'm kind of the opposite end of things. And we might actually do some more training in the future as I'm rehabbing after surgery and stuff like that. But most days, I would say probably if we're really looking at it, train together maybe once or twice a month. Yeah,
maybe. But and I think after I finish the run, I'm interested in following your program and training with you. It'll be nice to do. Also, I'd like someone to program bodybuilding for me because I don't fucking get it.
Mm-hmm. Also, Dope doesn't quite have all the equipment. We're still waiting on dumbbells. So I still go to a different gym a couple times a week because I like dumbbells. So once those are here, I imagine we probably will have more training sessions together.
Yeah, I would imagine. And at least training sessions where we're both in the space together, which I do like that here.
Yeah, maybe not necessarily doing the same thing. But yeah, I think we did one last week where we were both in here and it was super fun.
Yeah.
We had a blast. We were goofing around. Energy was good.
With each other between stuff.
Taking videos for each other. And I like watching him make muscles. It looks damn good.
I like watching her. She's real pretty in case you guys don't know
it. Next question. I'll read this one. Teresa Saurus Rex.
That's pretty good.
I think you've got the same one. So this question is directed to me. Any hangups or struggles with meeting previously married Matt? Previously married.
I had a relationship.
No. The answer is no. I have dated divorced men before. That has never been a hang up of mine.
I'm not sure that I knew that, but I've also never asked or thought to care.
Yeah, 2.
Okay.
2. Also
forget that I'm not the oldest guy you've dated.
You are.
Yes, I am.
Yeah, you are.
Fucking A. Yeah. Was that when we started?
What do you mean?
Well, I'm 38 now, and I don't know if
dated anyone older in the meantime.
Well, I know that you haven't dated a 38-year-old, but I was 36 when we started, right?
No, you've always been the oldest.
Fuck yeah.
No, I have no hangups. I have no hangups around divorce. Like I said, I dated 2 previously in the past. Also, I'm 33. I was 31 when we met, and you kind of assume that the partner you're about to be with has had a real life prior to you, or should have had some type of real life and real relationships.
Sure hope so.
I don't think anyone is coming into this like a fucking innocent teenager. I don't
Virgin.
know. Like what? Yeah.
It happens, Brand.
Yeah. He's an adult. He
He's
had
the
a life
40-year-old
before me.
version.
Yep.
And we both did. And I actually like that.
Yeah. Same reason that
prefer
I
that.
never had any stress about like, you've dated people.
Yeah. It'd be real weird if I had not dated anyone in my 20s.
But also like, you know, and it doesn't come up often, but we occasionally cross paths with people you've gone out with.
It's true. I have dated some people in the fitness world.
And I couldn't give any less of a shit.
No. And I always thought it might be a little awkward, but it hasn't. Like I've never felt uncomfortable.
Well, you also didn't date any ding dongs. Like the guys within the space that you did go out with have all been really nice dudes. And so like, what type of fucking piece of shit do I have to be to criticize your choice of previous partner?
Right.
When I like the person as a dude.
Yeah.
Like, I mean,
yeah,
fucking
yeah.
A. I mean, great choice. You're hanging out with a dude I like hanging out with. This seems great for me.
I love that everyone is civil and gets along well. And I love that it's an adult relationship where you don't have to worry about those things. Because how many bullshit relationships have you had in the past where that security is just not there?
Insecurity is just such a waste of fucking energy, man. Like,
which I'm sure we'll get into.
I'm sure,
with
right?
Some
The
other
insecurity
questions.
is just such a waste of energy. All right, Theresasaurus Rex. Any hangups post-marriage? How was it meeting like mind plus Fitspo, Bonnie? I don't know what that part means.
Maybe dating someone.
Also in the fitness industry. Just similar to myself, you know, that you do what I do.
Yeah. Works out great.
There's definitely hangups post-marriage. But like the hangups that come post-marriage are from... It's just the shorthand that you build with your partner over 13 years. It's like being in a business relationship or a fucking marriage for that matter is what I would say if it was, you know, changing business partners. But you just learn so much about the person and their mannerisms and how to read them and all these little bitty things over that amount of time that it's, that was something I noticed that was different was I didn't realize how much shorthand I had been using in my relationship. And then coming into this one, it's like, oh, we have to develop all that.
Yeah.
You know, that you don't know that if I'm acting this way, everything's okay. I'm just stuck.
Yeah. Yeah. You're starting from ground zero all over again.
Yeah. And
that's a lot.
That's a lot at 36. As a guy who, you know, that's not always my cup of tea is readjusting and trying to figure things out to catch people up to speed.
No shit.
Yeah. I'm aware.
No, I think that even just discussing that part of it helps me understand, you know, because 13 years with someone else is a very long time.
Yeah. And not only that, like it was also important to me coming into this that I still have a relationship with my ex that's civil or not even civil, that we're friends and
still business partners
You know, it's a tough thing to balance for sure. It sounds like a tough thing to balance on paper. But it hasn't been a tough thing to balance because of where Ashley and I both are as far as human beings and with the divorce and how we feel and those type of things.
Yeah. And I think for me, that can be challenging as well because it's a completely new situation for me. I've never had a partner that still had a good relationship with the ex, let alone a really good relationship and business partnership. Like that's been completely new for me to navigate as well. So, I mean, that has, I feel like presented its challenges once or twice, but I think we're both at a really good spot with it right now.
Yeah. Other than that, post-marriage, I don't think any of my hangups were relationship based. I definitely had some ego hangups like coming out of the marriage. It was tricky to move into someone's house after building a house.
And then, you know, being in an apartment and still like, oh yeah, I mean, you had such a beautiful house and pool and hot tub. No hot tub in the morning.
I did, right.
But yeah,
it's a change up, but that is what I wanted. So
yeah,
you don't get both, man.
Well, not quite yet.
Not yet. We'll get there, but it's not both. It's different. This is our thing, right? I think we covered.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was good.
J. Billups, 0927. Are there any non-negotiables in your relationship? If so, what are some?
Non-negotiables.
You know, we don't tolerate lying to each other.
No, of course not.
Fucking at all.
No.
Like, no excuse for it whatsoever.
No. I think...
Look, I think non-negotiables always get focused on saying, like, butt stuff, non-negotiable, right? Like, meanwhile, like, non-negotiables where stuff like that, like, we don't tolerate lying from each other. Like, that's what fucking non-negotiable should be.
Right. That's
not
like
the limitations.
hard line. Yeah.
But that we don't backtrack because we allow ourselves these fucking holes, you know, and then always allowing ourselves to be honest with each other in any situation. And that being the really open thing about this working is that you can always talk to me and it's not a fucking attack. That we will always listen and accept and not accept. I'm not saying we always have to agree, but we will listen.
Yeah. And for me, sometimes even that can be challenging, having a partner that wants to communicate and is open to communication. You know, I've been in relationships in the past where communication was not welcome and it was better and safer if I didn't. So like that has actually been a habit for me to break. But another non-negotiable I thought of was the lifestyle.
Ooh.
It'd be really, really hard to be with someone who didn't want or envision the same type of lifestyle.
But, you know, and also on top of there is something that's definitely a non-negotiable that I believe we have, but it's never discussed, would be we both give a shit about our health. Like if either one of us got too far off the fucking rails and wasn't taking care of ourselves it may be shitty for people to hear that, but like if I put on 50 fucking pounds, I expect to hear about it.
Same.
Right. I mean, I expect to fucking hear about it. And especially with like, hey man, what's going on?
Yeah, no shit.
Or is this fuck it, I don't care? Or are you okay?
Right.
Or is there a thing that needs you to gain 50 pounds to be successful at? Are you trying to lose 60? Like what's the fucking plan here?
Yeah.
But that would probably be something neither of us would tolerate very well from the other person is just.
But I keep going back to the lifestyle. What if one day I was just like, I think I'm gonna find a 9-to-5 job here in the city, and I think I'm good staying here, and I don't really want to travel anymore. Fuck drove a trip.
I think our time would probably be coming to an end.
Oof.
And we would figure out how to split ways as amicably as possible because, look, in the same way that I love the way we live our lives. I love getting to travel the way we do and have the freedom to go see our friends, and we actually go. Like we're not homebodies. But if something ever changed, the last thing I want is to drag someone through my fucking lifestyle of airports who doesn't want to be there.
Oh, so yeah, for sure.
You don't have to go with me. And that's something I think a lot of people get. You and I travel solo and don't have any problem with that either. Like we don't have to go with each other in anything. We typically want to.
Right.
But yeah, man, if you didn't want to go, cool. But that ended up being a problem I had in the previous relationship was that she wanted to be home. She was happy. She liked the job and the routine and the doing those type of things. And I don't.
Yeah, that's tough.
And it didn't work last time great for me.
No.
I would prefer that not to go this well.
Yeah. So no line, open communication, and same choice in lifestyle.
But you know, and even with the choice in lifestyle, we're both still allowed to change, but we're also aware that if that may come with the other person not being around, like that's a fact.
Yeah.
And that's like, I think that's more honest than like, I don't want that. I would love to spend the rest of my fucking life with you. I would love that. I would love to spend the rest of my life with you doing fun shit and having a great time and doing this thing that we're doing and continue to grow and adapt and change and stuff together as people. But neither of us are fucking obligated to do this.
No.
And so if at any point this isn't fun and great and where we want to be, we don't have to be here. Mm-hmm. And I think there's a freedom to that.
Absolutely.
That we're not obligated to do this.
Yeah, it just reminds you that all of this is a choice every day.
All of it.
It's choice.
I'll let you read the next one.
Cody Cullis, 97. I feel like I'm trying to make sure she doesn't hate me. Going on 3 years. IDK, what to do? Well, if you've been together 3 years, she probably doesn't hate you.
I would assume not. But like,
man, it'd be really weird to not know how your partner feels about you.
Right. That doesn't feel like you're trying to do the things that make your partner love you. Like, what did I say the other night? Like, well, I was cooking and basically was like, I still think it's important that I have to impress you occasionally.
Yeah.
Yeah, fucking of course, right? Like, I still want to make good steak and fucking cook and.
Yeah. And I still run in the office and show you my titties when you're working.
That's true. It's pretty neat.
So it's a give and take.
It's a highlight.
I also don't know if this question is also a bit of a joke,
See, I never took it as that. I thought like it's actually like a feeling this guy has of like
she might hate me.
I just don't know what the fuck I'm doing. Like it's kind of slipping.
Like probably that he just feels like he's not doing anything right and that she's like unhappy. But I feel like that's just a communication thing. Like,
yeah.
I feel like you just need to talk to the person.
I would just have a really open and honest conversation. Like, yo, can we just check in with each other? How are things going?
I mean, also check in with yourself. Are you fucking making progress? Are you doing the right things? Are you fucking someone that you'd want to hang out with? Like maybe you suck too.
Yeah, I feel like there's a lot of ways you could take that statement.
So we'll just cover all of them.
Yeah. Trying to make sure she doesn't hate me. Like if he had like a LOL after that, it's like, yo, do you need to be going out of your way to do more for this relationship? Like,
or are you just playing defense all day to not have her upset? Like is she always right? Are you because if you're stuck in a thing where you're having to walk on eggshells, get the fuck out of there as quick as possible.
Yeah,
it's not a fucking sustainable way to live. You're miserable and she doesn't like you. Just pull the fucking ripcord for her, man.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people will avoid that, asking themselves like, yeah, is it time to finally just call it what it is? Move on. We can both save each other some headache.
Yeah.
Fallacy of sunk cost, man.
I think it's a really hard step simply because the thought of having to like restart all of those things again is really, really, really hard for people. I know it was really, really hard for me in my first relationship, but like I understand like why it would be hard for other people. And so like, but it's just something you have to do because otherwise you're just miserable forever.
Dude, that whole thing, the fear to restart is such a strong feeling.
Yes. It's like, intense.
Especially when things are comfortable and good enough.
Good enough. Exactly.
Right.
The word is,
I bet there was a year. Like, I bet there was a year that things weren't great. That the idea of, the selling the house, the moving, the doing everything was too much to ask for there not being enough wrong.
Sure.
Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Like, fuck, man. And not only that, then even just the mental game you play of like, fuck, we're 13 years into this. Like, starting a new relationship. Like, what are we celebrating a 6-month anniversary? Like, what the fuck are we doing? It feels like it's so daunting to get back.
Yeah.
But you're not getting back. It's not.
No,
it's
there's
not
no
a comparison.
back.
It's just a
it's
different
something
chapter.
New entirely. Yeah.
Yeah.
So good luck, Cody. Maybe have some good, solid self-reflection and a couple open conversations.
Yeah.
Jonathan Ward, 843, wants to know, what is the most unique thing you learned about Matt upon moving in together?
Yikes. Smokes an astronomical amount of weed.
Kind of had an idea of that one.
Yeah.
The most unique thing, I think I didn't fully...
I don't know. I was smoking a lot less weed on Anne's back porch.
Yeah, that's
smoke.
fine. But I think the most unique thing would probably be just that level of crazy.
It's not getting any better.
So prior to living together, I believe we hung out
5 or 6 times.
10 times probably.
Maybe,
Tops. Alone, like without a group of people. So
for maybe 5 days.
It wasn't like we had dated for months and moved in together. We had just kind of collided a couple times.
We'd never even lived in the same city and like
right.
been able to kind of casually like
No, there was no casual dating.
No, we moved in without any idea of how the other person operates.
Yeah, which looking back, it is pretty wild.
And you've never lived with anyone.
Yeah, and I've never lived with anyone. I mean, basically lived with people, but always had my own apartment.
It's different.
Home to go to. Incredibly different.
That's not the same as you can tell yourself before you live with someone that like we basically, and you're like no.
Nothing like fully sharing a space with someone.
You don't have an escape.
Yeah, and I think just learning that level of crazy and the speed and pace at which your brain operates. I think that was all new for me because it's different when you're colliding and hanging out for the weekend to spend time with each other. And then once you are in each other's world and sharing a universe.
Well, it's not vacation
It's not vacation anymore. You're not there just to exist and.
Right. We would collide and basically have work done so we could hang out.
So we could just solely focus on each other. And now you're living together, you're sharing this house and this world, and you really get to see how the other person works. And so whenever we had been together prior, Matt's brain was focused on me. And now I get to see his brain focused on a billion other things in a billion different directions at a billion light years of speed.
Yeah.
So, so I think, and nothing's wrong with that. I just don't think I knew the full capacity of your thought process.
Yeah. But neither did I. Mm-hmm. Like I'm still trying to figure it out and still trying to figure out the most efficient way. But I have a tendency to, if something creates progress, I'll just lean.
For sure.
And so you're right.
And since you've been here, there's been just exponential amounts of progress in every aspect of our world.
Every direction.
So I've really got to have first row seat to witness all that operating in your head.
Is it really that odd?
It's different than anyone else I've been with, but I love it.
Fuck yeah. Brent, you've dealt with me now for a while.
Yeah. I mean, I think just a Slack message is probably like the greatest way to explain how you work, because it's vomit and then you just decipher and then you just go on with your day. And
I think Brent and I have also had conversations about you, babe.
That adds up.
Where I'm just like, yo, don't let it stress you too much. Sometimes Matt just needs a sounding board.
Yeah, basically,
he just needs to get things out of his head.
In front of a person.
Yeah, like I realize like this thing doesn't need to be taken care of away, but I immediately am like, fuck, I have to take care of this right now. I'm just like,
oh yeah.
Yeah. And it's
I've had to explain that to Andy as well, that like, or Kyle, that like, hey, just because I threw something in there, this isn't ASAP. It's if I don't share this, it's gone. Yes. And it may not come back around.
That's why I've started, I mean, because of the speed that we're working at too, and just being like around you, I have to do the same thing essentially, where as soon as I think about something, I have to write it down. Yep. Otherwise I fucking forget about it. And that I kind of told that to Andy too, when we were trying to, start getting like emails and stuff done. He's like, oh, Matt's just giving me like a ton of design stuff. I'm like, dude, just put it on a list. And then I'm like, get to like 1 or 2 things like a week or something, or like
if there's something that's got a hard line, I let people know.
I was about to say, I'm like, if it's something that has to be done, he will let you know. But I'm like, otherwise, fucking write it down and do your other shit, because it's like it is not important. I promise you, it's not important.
At some point, get to this.
I'm like, you will get to it. I'm like, it's not important right now. I swear to you.
And even when I check back in, like, I'm a lunatic, but I'm not a cunt about it.
Yeah.
Like even when I check back in, it's like, hey, where are we on the new boxes?
Yeah.
And he's like, I haven't had a chance to blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, okay.
Usually, but that's the thing though, is usually when you bring it back up, if it's something and it's like, okay, this is something that I need
now
to
it needs to move further back up the list.
This has to move up the list because I'm like, the reason he asked about it is because now he's
thinking about it.
Yeah, exactly. And so it's just, yeah, it's kind of working around it that way. So,
which is, I guess, if I spoke properly, I would throw it into the chat and be like, sometime in the future, I'm going to want this done. And then later I go, anyone thought about those things I asked about 2 months ago?
I can't imagine how much that Slack chat would stress me out if I saw it. I remember one moment
I have
when we were coming
channels
home.
in there of just different conversations.
It's nice because I can translate pretty easily, but there are some times where I'm just like, Matt, I need you to not talk in sentence fragments today. I'm just like,
I think it was when we were coming home from our 8-week road trip last summer, and you were all hyped up because we had just spent basically all summer around these amazing, motivational, inspiring friends that we have, and we were driving home, and you had your ideas running full speed, but you're trapped in the tundra, which means you can't do anything about it, which adds to the frustration.
I can't even write. I can't.
No. And so you, at this moment, it would have been like August, you were talking about how you wanted to build the backyard and do a garage gym and build out all that in the backyard. But then also maybe you wanted to go buy a space for a studio gym and podcast area. And then also we should really look at getting an adventure van. And I'm like, holy fucking shit, which direction? Pick a direction.
Oh.
And I just remember thinking that, like, what the fuck? And then I always have to remind myself, like, okay, it's never going to happen this fast. Like it'll only still be one thing at a time.
Yep.
Pretty much it has been.
I do pretty good at that.
Yeah. And then
mostly my resources limit me to that currently.
Yes. And we found this space, and then this took priority, and the other ones are still on the list. But for me, I'm just like, okay, which direction? I need to know. And I'm glad we're talking about this again because we discussed this on the way down to Texas the other day. We talked about this a lot.
Full locked in.
Yeah. So I feel like both of us have a pretty good understanding of the speed that you operate, the pace that I need, and how to coexist.
Yeah. And you, as not being an employee, mostly need to jump in and say, that sounds fucking dumb. Mm-hmm. And I go, huh?
Yeah.
And then I have to rework an idea. And then anything that sounds pretty good, you just kind of don't have to listen to.
Yeah. No, I know when you just need a sounding board. And if something is ever really not a good idea, I think I speak up, and I don't hesitate to give my opinions on, we talked about a lot of hate stuff too, like business wise. But yeah, learning Matt's crazy brain.
Yeah. And I think that goes back to your whole guys talking about with your really open communication and like being okay with doing that. And being comfortable with that, even with just business decisions, which I think is really, really cool.
Well, like, I don't know what I would do if she was like, hey, I don't ever want to talk about hate. I'd be like, well, fuck.
Well, it's tough because like there'll be times where like, oh, we'll like do something else, and then we just end up talking about that because it's just
it's just how it goes, man. And look, I've heard Rob and Dana say it, and I've heard other people say it, that if you own a business, like, don't ever think that there's a separation anymore of your life and this thing. This is all we're going to talk about. It's all our employees are all we're going to think about. Yeah. We're constantly thinking about where we get in 2 years, 5 years, and 10.
Yeah, but the thing is like I love it. That's the thing, though. Is like
that's why
that was kind of the end of my thing, though. Is like we talk about it all the time. It's like we try and talk about something else, but that always is what it leads to. And then, but I'm like, I fucking love it, dude. And I'm just like, because I don't know, it's just it's awesome. So
I will also excuse myself when I know the conversation is.
Yeah, you're just like,
when I don't need to be there, or I'm just done. Because me not being an employee or owner or anything, like I can just say, all right, see you. I'm gonna go do something else. Like when you came to dinner the other night, I was like, this is all gonna be work. Enjoy yourself, boys. So I have no problem with that, and I don't think Matt's offended by that. I'm fine with it.
No, because look, things go both ways in a relationship, and some of the big back to non-negotiables. Mm-hmm. I don't tolerate inconvenience well, and inconvenience for me is anything I don't want to do. And whether that's sit through a conversation I don't particularly want to listen to, or go to a dinner, or whatever.
Yeah.
That if I don't want to go, I don't feel obligated to go.
No, your whole life is around building less inconvenience.
Right. And so I don't feel obligated to do shit. And so the only way that that's ever fair is I can't ever ask you to do shit you don't want to do. That's the fair trade.
Yeah, which I don't think you ever have.
No, of fucking course not, because I definitely don't want to do shit I don't want to do. And so I'm very aware of like, if you don't want to do this, please don't come. I'm never offended or anything. Kind of the same with like after FitCon, right? You're not feeling good.
That's it. Yep.
And you kind of felt an obligation of like, fuck, this is.
No, it wasn't even an obligation.
Right? Well,
I just
fun.
really wanted to. Yeah, I just felt terrible.
I understand that because you want to hang out with your friends.
But also you want to go hang out with your friends and it is a celebration at the end of FitCon and we have been part of it. There is a bit of.
Oh, I still have the worst
It is
FOMO.
the thing, right? Like we need to be there.
Yeah.
More so, and we want to be, but we do need to be there. But like that, you not feeling good, like, yo, don't go. You're gonna be miserable. It's just gonna make things worse. Like
no, because I would have had a couple drinks, and then I would have felt even shittier, and I would have been annoyed by the drunk people, and it just wouldn't have been good.
We had a great drive home.
Yeah, we talked pretty much the whole way home.
Yeah, we talked the whole way home.
Nice.
Okay, these
are
basically
pretty much the same. So yeah.
Yeah, Miss Frances IV.
Well, you skipped over. Eva.
Well, it's the same question.
Okay, all right.
You can kind of take
How do you
Miss
keep
Frances
it?
4.
How do you keep it spicy?
Are they talking about bedroom times?
She might be talking about bedroom times.
I feel like she's
I'd say
talking
you can
about
answer
bedroom
both.
times, not just my food with sriracha.
Something weird happened to my headphones, but I think I'm
That was
good
a
now.
terrible dad joke.
Oof.
Sorry.
I don't know that we've lost really any spice.
No, but we're also kind of on the gas for keeping it spicy anyway.
Yeah, we like to keep things very interesting.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, we get a little loose in the bedroom. I don't know. We neither one of us really have, I guess, much of a limit as far as things go. I guess both of us fall into this. Sex is really fun for those of you who aren't aware of that. Really good sex is more fun. And since it's a thing that I get to share with one person who also seems to like sex, why would we limit anything that feels good? So there's no like hangups for us over anything. If it feels good, it's a go.
Yeah.
If it's fun, it's a go.
Yeah.
Like, would we wear costumes and fuck? Yeah, probably.
Yeah, probably.
I mean,
if we're
have.
both into it.
Your onesies?
Right.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, you're exactly
Just
right. Like,
unbutton a couple buttons and call it good.
and get a little loose.
Kinda-
You wore that cheerleader outfit.
Kind of, oh yeah.
Yes, we've done.
What happened to that?
I think it never left the basement.
It's somewhere.
I think it's on the bench.
Oh no. Yeah. Yeah, we're both fully open to, if this feels good, we're doing it. And
Also, yeah, I'm a creep. I like sex.
you're a creep. I'm a bit of an exhibitionist.
Right. This works out swimmingly.
It works out pretty well. We're both just a couple perverts.
Other than the occasional time where training's a bit much for us and then we're both basically crippled.
That
And
is usually
and sex more cripples us.
That's usually the only thing standing in our way is we both can end up with some pretty
Sometimes it's more like
busted
fighting
hips.
than it is fucking.
Yeah.
We've been on the fucking attack,
competition
dude.
fucking.
We've
yeah.
definitely finished and I'm just like, what the fuck, man?
Yeah. Competition
I need a
fucking
fucking
for
cold
sure.
shower. I'm fucking broken. I just have to
Yeah.
put my knee and hip in the cold water for a couple minutes.
Well, you're trying to keep up with this younger gal.
Fuck, I know it.
Yeah, we love going to sex toy stores
Yeah, good times.
and picking out fun things to
Or dick
wear,
pills.
fun things to play with. We love to get gas station dick pills.
Gas station dick pills are always a win. Also, legit dick pills are great too.
Yes,
The great folks over at
Blue Chew.
Core Medical, they send me Cialis as well.
There you go. Yeah, there's no shortage of dick pills in our home. So yeah, we like to get a little weird with it for sure.
And for anyone curious, as far as the dick pill thing, if you need help, get help for one.
Yeah.
There's no reason you have to deal with your dick not working. And two, for me, I don't know, we'd like to have sex a lot. Mm-hmm. And I'm 38 and like having sex a lot. And so sometimes I want to have sex more than my dick wants to. And I'd like it to get on board.
It also
and I can win
depends-
with chemistry.
Also depends what day of the week it is and how busy things are.
It's fucked. It's really
'Cause
weird that
we've
we
got it
noticed
locked
that.
down.
Fuck.
We have more sex between Thursday and Sunday.
Yeah, after
Monday,
Thursday's
Tuesday, Wednesday,
drop, I'm a little bit more open to.
Yeah. Yeah. Your brain's a little bit more free.
I front load the week.
Yeah. Oh, if you're looking to spice things up, go to a sex store together. See what you guys are into.
And if you ever have to answer that question, it's like, oh, my partner wouldn't like that. Fucking, I don't know what to tell you.
Out of all of our friends, do you think we have the weirdest sex?
I hope not, but I think so.
I hope not, but I think so. Yeah.
I hope they're all fucking.
Oh, I hope they're having an excellent time.
Fuck, I hope everyone out there is having great sex. I'm sorry for anyone out there who's getting fucked poorly.
Oof. All right, moving on. Give us a scroll.
Moving on to the next stuff.
Moving the wrong
Oh,
screen.
man,
Oh,
bad
God.
sex. Like, yo,
There's
way
no
too
reason.
short.
There's no reason to be having bad sex. Jamie Lynn 413 said, "What age did y'all meet? I'm 32 and feel like dudes only want 20 somethings."
You're hanging out with the
I
wrong
roll.
dudes.
That's not true.
Yeah, you're for sure hanging out with the wrong dudes.
You hang out with dudes that want to fuck 20-year-olds, which means you're attracted to ding-dongs.
Yup.
You're attracted to children.
So if what you've been doing isn't working, try something else. Good rule of thumb. I would have been 29 when we met, but like 31 when we started dating. And Matt is somewhere around 40 always.
Yeah, I'm loosely,
always been
loosely
around 40.
since we started going out. 38 currently.
Yeah. So, man, but I'll tell you what, getting in a relationship in your 30s is so much different than being in a relationship in your 20s. Just because you have a better sense of self and what you want and what you won't tolerate. And
Well, and a little bit
kind of
less interested in wasting each other's time.
less interested in wasting each other's time. And you've probably been through some other relationships, hopefully prior to this.
Hence why I was okay with moving in immediately. Is like, let's just go ahead and figure this out.
And I'm like, what?
Let's figure this out. If this is going to work, it's going to work. If not, then we'll move somewhere else.
Yeah. So chances are you're around the wrong dudes. I would find other dudes, do something different, look somewhere else.
Yeah, I don't. 32 and dudes only want 20 somethings. Again, this falls back to, I think the guys that you're around, if the guys that you were trying to date keep trying to date 20 somethings, then the dudes that you're into and trying to date are probably fucking lame. Like, I don't know why they want, like, I don't want to fucking even talk to a 20-year-old, much less have one hang out with me all day. I have zero in common with that human.
Yeah. Find an adult.
Like,
other than our genitals.
it's like Bella and Edward.
He's 117 years old. How's he going to talk to that kid?
Don't get
Exactly.
him
It's the
started on
same.
this. Grant.
Nothing.
I knew what I was
You
doing.
know he
if
can
you're
just go
fucking-
on
I knew what I
about
was
Twilight.
doing.
If you're fucking 20, essentially anything you're bummed out about to me at 38 goes, it doesn't matter.
Yes.
It's true.
It doesn't matter. Oh, what's that thing you're upset about? That doesn't matter.
Juice 917 says, attraction is gone, more friendship than marriage, have 2 kids. Any ideas on how to get it back? I feel like you could probably talk about this a bit, as you felt the more friendship than anything else, but that's not a thing you got back.
Attraction is gone. That's tough, man.
Super tough.
I never had an attraction issue. We just were going different directions. You know what I mean? So it wasn't that. But that's basically the same thing, like the spark.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, I don't know if they physically don't find each other attractive anymore, but also I'm willing to bet that if you think that's the case, then there's probably bigger things going on. I would ask, like, how are open conversations about this? Do you both want to address it? What have you done to address it? Have you seen a therapist? Have you tried new things? Are you, both open to stuff? I mean, there's a lot of options. I mean, it's more friendship than marriage. You have 2 kids. Also, what is the honest conversation about being friends who raise great kids together?
Right.
Maybe you also find it smart to share a home and do all that. Like, there's a lot of options out there relationship wise. You both could date.
Mm-hmm.
Fucking call it what it is. We've seen that with other people we know. There's not the standard protocol anymore that you have to fucking follow of either spend the rest of your life with this person and be parents or never talk to them again and be shitty divorced people. Like, if you're staying together for the kids, you're fucking up. that's just proven. Your kids know that you're fucking miserable, and you're teaching your kids to stay in a miserable situation for no reason. So that's not making anything better.
Yeah, it's cool that you can really create whatever type of relationship you want, but that all starts with open conversation with your partner. Like Matt said, like, what if it is just two friends raising these kids? Maybe that's a better option. Maybe that's going to provide a better home life for these kids. And maybe you date and see other people. Like
you could still share a home, be friends, and date other people. But what's good for the goose is good for the gander. Now, if you're not both fucking open to that and willing to be honest, then there's your fucking problems. Mm-hmm. I'm not saying that's your only option is. I mean, the other options are move out and start separate lives and doing shit other. And you can still raise kids and be friends. Like none of that has to change unless your bullshit's in the way. And if you don't want your partner happy, then fucking wrestle with that on your own time too.
But also, I mean, she asked, like, any ideas how to get it back? So there's definitely seems to be like a little bit of still trying to make that work.
For sure.
Yeah. And I think that you can explore that as long as you want, right? Like there's tons of new things that you can try, places to go together, and activities to do. Yeah. But like,
I guess like what amount of free time do you have? Can you go on a vacation? Can you take a trip? Can you get alone time? How are you when it is just the two of you and you're not distracted by the kids? What are you guys doing to, water the grass in that relationship, right? Like the grass grows where you water it. And so what are you guys doing to give back to each other to find this? What are you doing to connect with each other on a deeper level? Like, what are you guys sharing? Are you reading books together? Are you, finding time to watch movies? Are you trying to fucking date each other anymore? Like those are the things, right? Like, you get fucking bored with people because you know everything about them and they're not, and they become predictable. It's the same way I get bored with movies. That's what it does. And so, being a person that's growth driven and trying to find progress and not just survive keeps things a little fucking interesting and on their toes. So, I mean, the attraction part's tough, but for both of you too, are you doing something that you would find attractive? Are you the type of person that you would find attractive? Like, are you fucking doing awesome shit? Are you trying to be better? Are you trying to be smarter? Are you just learning more things? Putting the effort to be more awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I think on the other end, like if you're trying, because like you were saying, what her question is saying, it seems like she's trying to put in some effort by just asking the question
100%.
Alone. So like
100%.
my thing is you have to be, your partner has to also be giving some of that effort back. And if you're constantly trying and they're not, then like you're going to have to just kind of pull the plug on the thing.
You can't do it one way.
Yes.
In the same way,
everything's two way. So
in the same way, it's really eye-opening your first like adult relationship when you realize like, like when the first girl, like I remember, Ashley would have been the first girl that I remember dating that wasn't a fucking disaster. Shock.
So you've dated two now that weren't disasters.
Yes.
Okay.
Fact. But I remember like early in that relationship having this feeling that I thought Ashley was boring. But there was a pivot and something had clicked and I realized, oh, she's not boring. She's just not a fucking wreck. Like she's never shit-faced and screaming at me. We don't have to yell at each other at a bar.
Yes.
Like it's none of that shit.
Weird.
Like it never takes place.
It's weird because like growing up in my household, it's chaos, dude. It's lots of yelling all the time. And so like going into a relationship where knowing that like, oh, I don't have to deal with this, but like also at the same time, I'm like, why is she not yelling at me? I'm just like, it's weird.
Yeah. And then like having that, and then also the feeling that your partner is putting in an equal amount of effort to make the relationship work. And then all of a sudden you're like, this is going really well.
Yeah.
Just suspicious.
You had me on my fucking heels, lady. I don't understand why this is going well because it's not work.
Yeah.
Right.
And I think it's easy to get associated that like that drama is the attractive part.
Mm-hmm.
I think that was a really good word to use is work. Like if it's feeling like work constantly, then there's something not right. And so I think getting rid of the part of your relationship being work is important.
I think it can be something you want to work on or get better at, right? Yeah, and I think we all know what we're trying to say. Yes, we're just fucking arguing semantics.
Yeah.
I wish you the best, Juice. Oh,
Real talk Ross. When one of you gets hit on, does the other person get jealous or take it as a compliment?
There's nothing I hate more than watching some guy walk up to Bonnie and fucking put the eyes on her. I develop rage.
You guys haven't seen it like I have.
I don't know. How would you?
Man, I'm dating a smoking hot dude. He's going to get hit on.
Nice.
I believe he got a puss in his DMs once.
Yeah. It's highly aggressive.
It's a bold move.
I just responded with, wow, that's super aggressive. And then she said something back and I was like, hey, don't fucking send that to people. Like I treated her the same way a dude who sends his dick out, except for she's never been told this wasn't okay.
Yeah. Oh, I bet.
Because it's not the same.
Yeah.
That's why guys will send unsolicited dick pics out. That's why. It's because there's no interest. No, it's not even a numbers game. There's never a time in our head where the tables would be turned that it would be a problem. Like if dudes just had unsolicited boobs and vaginas in their DMs.
Oh, we'd be stoked.
No one would ever talk about it as a negative.
Oh, we'd be stoked. Like, this is great.
Yeah.
And so we assume, why wouldn't they also?
Meanwhile,
want the same?
Your bits are offensive if we don't want them.
That's a fact. They should be. Have you seen how awful they look?
Yeah,
that
naked
fucking weird
dudes,
waist port.
Naked dudes are so strange. Naked dudes are only okay in just the one circumstance, basically.
Are they weirder flaccid than hard?
They have to be, right?
I think it's weird both ways.
Oh, that's fair.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I mean, it's just weird in a different way, right? You're like, now it's coming at me instead of just chilling. But so back to what I said, I think my man is super, super hot. And therefore, there's going to be some other people out there that think the same way, right? And I'm sure Matt, hopefully, feels the same way about me. But if anytime I'm feeling
180,000 people that are
if anytime I'm feeling weird about it, I can remind myself like, yo, you're a babe. You like having sex with him. You like going on adventures with him. You like getting high in the basement and watching movies with him. Yeah, he's pretty much got a good package, got a good thing here.
What would I upgrade?
I don't know what you'd upgrade.
That's the thing.
So like I'm going through these lists in my mind. I'm like, yo, you check all these boxes.
Probably hip and knee.
You're good.
Upgrades.
No stress.
You also have an income that isn't dependent on mine. Mm-hmm. Like you're fully independent.
Yeah.
You own all your own shit.
Come on.
I don't afford your life.
Ain't no ladies on the gram gonna stress me out.
No, dude. And
but yeah, compliment him because he's a babe. And also compliments make him uncomfortable.
Oh, come on, man.
Tell him how hot he is.
Man, you're so pretty.
Those don't bother me. I don't mind being told I'm attractive. It's just when I'm told, like, you've done good or inspired.
Yeah. That whole thing we dove into. Yeah, how does it work on your end?
I couldn't fucking care any less about some guy. I just think about what a tremendous amount of energy I would have to waste on wondering what 180,000 strangers
exhausting
may want to send you or hit on you, or that they follow you because you're hot, or what they may I'm aware of how the internet works. I don't think there's a bubble around you that would keep you safe from these mutants. But nor am I going to waste energy to go and defend your honor to strangers online. Like
And where am I going to go from you, babe?
I don't know. At some point, this thing's going to fall apart.
No, we'll just keep replacing those.
All right.
Yeah.
You could fucking upload me into a robot.
Ooh.
Yes, let's do that. I'm really excited for
doll.
Android Matt.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. The jealousy thing, I was jealous at a younger age. like at a previous relationship, but she was a real whore. I was jealous for a good reason. Well, jealous, no. I was bummed out because my chick was a whore. I don't think jealousy is the right word.
Yeah, I think it's also very, very, very different when you're
Am I not allowed to say whore anymore?
I think it's very different when you're in a completely
I mean, it's a little aggressive,
open
but it's
and
okay.
loving and trusting
I
relationship.
mean, she literally would swap sex for like an exchange of things.
Oh, wow.
So whether that was good favor or, I don't know, a night out, I feel like it works. I just want to make sure I'm not slut shaming. She was a not nice lady. I hope everything goes poorly for her. Anyway, I was jealous in that relationship, and that super sucked. And then going forward after that, I never had a reason to be. And then I guess I would have more of a reason to be jealous now, just because guys hit on you and dudes find you attractive. But that's not, that's not jealousy. That's insecurity. I don't want anything they have. I'm insecure that you're going to find something better. And the confident side that both of us have is that you won't.
Well, also, back to what I just said when you're talking. It's different when you're in a completely open and trusting and secure relationship. Like, there's nothing to stress over.
Right.
Yeah. And being in that, like, very mature, adult, safe, open space, like, there's nothing to worry about. It's just not a thought.
Well, I mean, the idea of any of that would be the insecurity, perhaps, that you would seek someone else outside the relationship, right? That would be the biggest thing of nervousness of
if your partner
someone
does that,
finding your
there's
partner
nothing you can
attractive, right?
do.
That's exactly it. If that's going to take place, you throwing a barricade up somewhere isn't going to slow that process down.
No.
They'll just be trickier.
Yeah. And me getting shitty about it would just push you away further.
Right.
So treat your partners nice. Maybe they'll stay with you.
Also, sex them a lot.
Yeah. It's important.
Yeah, it's super important. Like that's important stuff. Like anytime I get dudes that hit me up about anxiety shit, and they're like, "Oh, I'm just super anxious and I'm not, feeling right." And I ask the first few things, like, "Are you training? Are you fucking? Are you sleeping? Are you eating food?" Like, if you're not doing those 4 things right now, like properly, then don't fucking talk to me about any of the other shit. Get that fucking low-hanging fruit in order, and the rest of your life kind of going to be better.
Yep. All right, next question. Bourbon and barbells.
Oh, we know her?
Do we? I don't know.
No.
Getting over the hurdle of working out with your partner, fear of judgment.
Don't understand.
I guess I never felt that Matt was judging me in the gym. I don't know why you would.
Yeah, I've never cared what anyone thought what I was doing in the gym. Also, but look, maybe it may look, okay. So we're from a weird perspective, right? Both of us were collegiate athletes. Both of us are super competent in that arena. So I don't know what it's like, say, if you came into this relationship.
Not know anything about.
And now you've just started, or you've had a year of powerlifting before we got together.
Yeah. Oh, it'd be different. Yeah, for sure.
So with that said, how would we?
I mean, I think acting like you aren't a newbie, like acting that way is not the right way to go. Like, if you're new to the gym, let's not act any different. Like,
Yeah, you're there to learn.
Right. Be open to learning. If your partner is someone that's more advanced or knows more, like, don't be afraid to ask questions or ask for
they
help.
probably want to help.
I mean, yeah, don't act like you're not new, because then that adds like this other level of weirdness. Now
Unless
that you've
they
just
hate
thrown
training with anyone
into your
else.
relation- Right. Yeah, I mean, hopefully you aren't dating someone that would judge you. Because that would be a bummer.
Yeah,
Right,
I'm kind of confused. I almost feel like they're saying like they're a little judged already. Like
Yeah,
their partner is kind of
I
like
mean,
a little. But
there's one thing about being judged and the fear of judgment, right?
Yeah, because she did say
of judgment is a personal thing.
that's why I'm
based
saying
on someone else's thing. So I don't know if
That's why
people
I
are
don't know.
actually
So-
judging her or there's a fear of it.
yeah.
So I would talk. So hopefully your relationship is good and open and stable enough to where you can express this concern to your partner. I mean, that would be the ideal scenario, right? Like we're going to the gym and I could say, man, I feel just like a little uncomfortable because I'm training in front of you and you know more than me or whatever that might be. Like just have a conversation about it.
Also, if your partner, so if this was me and I'm reading something off of my partner and it's because of this, whatever it is, I would be so outgoing and offering not help, right? Because I don't want it to be condescending, but just offering so much information.
And support.
Yes. Like, hey, do you want to try this? And then like, hey, do you mind if I correct a few things? Like, I think
I don't even know that I would use the word correct, but like offer
help. Or show you how to do, or hey, have you ever done this
have you
exercise
tried this?
before?
Like asking questions is usually a better way to go about it than correcting.
Sure.
Why are you doing it this way? Have you tried this?
Exactly. It's easier to ask why. And if they just, because a lot of times people just be like, oh, that's all I've ever.
Yeah, that's all I've ever known. That's all I've ever seen. But yeah, hopefully it's a situation where you can have an open, honest conversation with your partner around that. Because I think that, Jesus, when isn't that the best way to go, right? Communication. Right. Okay, the powerlifting aerialist. Wow, look at her. She's spinning up on some hoops up there. Something we haven't tried. Goal setting for motivated, driven couples. Becoming a power couple. Whoa. Best recommendations on becoming a power couple.
I hate everything you're talking about.
Oh man.
That's my honest gut feeling is everything that you're saying of like planning it, I hate.
Find someone that's very successful on Instagram. Gross. Hunt him down. Force him to love you.
I love it.
We can talk about.
It just seems so like that to me is just as fucking bad as like saying I want to be an influencer because my recommendation is fucking do something good. Like that's how you get people to give a shit is you fucking do something well. And then the idea of like, how do you become a power couple? Like there's a book to the side effect of doing rad shit. You and your partner do kick-ass shit for a long time and then you become rad.
Yeah. And I think a lot of that is having good standards, having high standards for yourself, having high expectations, and letting that transfer into every other aspect of your life as far as a partner and someone that you're choosing to spend the rest of your life with. It'd be very, very difficult for me to be with someone who was highly unmotivated, working a job they weren't passionate about. And
see, all right. So I think that's not even fair the way we say that, right? That like it would be very hard for me to be. I fucking wouldn't be with someone who's not motivated and has a job they hate and they're fucking miserable.
That's what I'm saying.
Right.
That's what I'm saying. I should have said that. But yeah, I mean, find someone whose goals and motivation aligns with yours.
Or at least on progress.
I wouldn't even say like it has to align. I'd say more so just you guys both have kind of like goals that you're like working towards. Like you're not just fucking sitting and not making progress.
It doesn't have to be in the same direction.
Yeah, unless neither of you are into that.
Yeah.
Like if you're both cool with 9-to-5 job and comfortable and hanging out and doing the white picket fence and routine, fucking right on.
Sure. Mm-hmm. Sure.
My life is fucking not for you.
But if you're highly motivated, setting these goals for yourself and really, really determined and driven forward, having someone that shares those similar characteristics is going to be helpful.
It's critical. It's going to be critical for you to accomplish what you want to.
Yeah, I almost feel like you need more info for this question.
Otherwise, it just creates too much drag on the system. Like it's too much of a constant battle for attention to the thing that you're trying to do.
Yeah.
Anchored Cuffs 5728. Do you do combined goal orientation or each their own and support or combo, and how?
Oh, Jesus.
I mean, I think we talk about goal setting a lot.
We talk about the future all the time.
Constantly.
It's pretty much the number one thing we discuss.
Yeah, it's basically always kind of being aware of like where we'd like to be in 5 years. And then, and even saying that, I don't want to say where we want to be in 5 years because there's an expectation. We don't have an expectation of where it's going to be, but our intention is in 5 years, we would like to be moving west. And if us moving west, there's a couple things that if we backtrack that we should probably do. One of which is make fucking more money. Another is, make the most of the time that we have here because it's more affordable to live here. Mm-hmm. So we can really, really hammer it for the next couple years to get things at a level once we move west that it's more sustainable for being out west.
Yes, like all the things you want to do to the house to make it a better rental property and so on. So I think majority of our conversations are around the future, whether that be where we want to live, where we want to go, where we want to travel. If we want to go fuck off and live in Bali for 6 months, goals with his business, goals
years.
with my business. How can we help each other? It's constant support.
It's always support.
It's that's it.
I have no interest in creating drag on you. I have no interest in slowing you down. Only the opposite. Mm-hmm. I just want to pour gas on your fire.
Likewise.
And that's it, right? Like I just want to see you become the fucking greatest thing you could ever want to be.
Yeah.
Like, why wouldn't you want that for your partner?
I don't know.
And the thing about it is it's easy to be like, oh, we both want to be great. But there's steps. Like you can break that plan down.
Mm-hmm. I mean, yeah, it might be what 99% of our conversations are about.
We shit don't talk about yesterday.
Even think about the drive back from Dallas. Like a lot of the majority of that drive was discussing on how can we make the next fit come better.
Yep.
Like it's always goals. It's always looking forward. It's always foot on the gas. And
it's just how do we get better? What did we do well?
Yeah.
What could have been better? Because you can't just improve on the shit you're great at. You at some point have to bring up the weak links and giving a shit about those that they're also making progress and you don't just progress one little finite point.
Yeah. And on the car the other day, there was a bunch of conversation around hate in your business and you're open to me giving ideas and me providing some input and things that I might think work better. So it's just constant support and wanting to see the other one truly succeed.
Well, and there is such different perspective, right? Like, while you don't own an apparel business per se, but you've been sponsored by a number of different apparel companies. You've been involved with things like that. You've run your own business. And so you've done marketing for other companies. Like there's a lot of really valid input that goes toward what I do for a living.
Yeah. Being involved in the same world.
And for you, the other way is universe creation. Mm-hmm. It's building more of what is Bonnie and then figuring out the best way to present it and share it in a way that's authentic and you. Because fuck, people are into it, man.
They seem to be.
So give them more.
Laura Schreiber.
Which is one of the reasons we wanted to do a podcast together.
Yeah.
I want to do more of this. I like getting to do this with you. I like getting to, I don't know, sit down and talk away from phones and kind of hang out,
just
right?
looking at a different screen.
Different.
But yeah, that was also part of our conversation is how do we do more things together? Like you're going to be following a workout plan that I'm writing and we want to do more podcasts together and maybe me being more involved with the apparel in a different way. Like,
I think so.
I think that it's worth recognizing that people like us as a couple.
For sure.
And how do we give them more of that? How do we give them more insight to our life? How do we share? And this is part of that. Okay, next question. Laura Schreiber wants to know favorite date plan.
Fucking honestly.
I know what it is.
It's gonna be.
Yeah, we all know what it is.
It's getting high in the basement and fucking watching movies, man.
Getting high in the basement, watching movies, maybe playing a little Assassin's Creed.
I'm so happy doing that.
And then hopefully, fingers crossed, at some point in the night, Ollie comes down, stomps all over us, lays on Matt's chest. That's a dreamy night.
Fucking pretty good night.
Dude, I mean, as fast as everyone is running all fucking day, like the absolute fucking moment of sitting in those beanbags and just getting fucking cooked for the end of the night and just completely down-regulating to nothing is awesome. It's great.
It's imperative.
Yeah. Like
I need to be able to hit the brakes as hard as I fucking
possible.
ramp up.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Which I think is important.
It's imperative for Matt, for sure. There's definitely been times I feel like where we've had dates planned and we're like, yo, we don't want to go out.
No, we never do.
Yeah.
We fucking paid Brent last night to pick up food. We bought him dinner and had him walk and pick up food that's closer to us to just bring us milkshakes because we were too high to leave the house.
And then he thought that the one actual meal in there was yours.
I did.
Oh, Brent, you had to have been so bummed.
I just thought they forgot my meal. I was like, oh, that's okay. I'm just like,
I needed to go back by.
I mean, no, I needed the walk. It was closed when I was
needed the
walking
walk.
in. I needed to walk anyways.
Well,
so that's okay.
Come on, man.
So that's usually
was
what
nice
a
out.
date night ends up being. But I do like if we're both in the mood, getting a little dressed up and going out and having a nice meal.
Yeah, a nice meal, drink or two.
Leaving phones in the truck or wherever that may be is usually really good for me.
I mean, truth is, what's our favorite date night is fucking off to the woods.
Yeah,
That's a good answer.
for sure.
I mean, that's the truth. I mean, going to dinner, we go to dinner whenever we fucking want. Like, we don't have
Sure.
to schedule dinner. We can just go eat. We can order food in. We can do all that. It's that alone time
Yeah.
that we're the only person's other thing.
There's been so many just beautiful, special nights in the woods camping.
We need to go, man.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's been a while.
We're just,
I mean, it was cold.
we're just.
You need to figure
yeah,
out your California dates, and then we can actually figure out a night to just fuck off.
Yeah, I need
here
to talk
in
to
Missouri.
Mark.
Yeah. How hard has it been abstaining from sex until marriage? Ha 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 ha.
Brutal.
Absolutely brutal.
Rough, man. People do that shit.
Well, they do that thing because of an invisible guy in the sky that's watching them. And then as soon as they're married and allowed to have sex, he would like them to make as much kids as possible. This was never meant for you to enjoy it. Meanwhile, I'd have to believe this same God character is the one that gave us the nerve endings that make sex feel good, right?
It's weird,
or is
right?
that the evolution thing
like
so
a
that
lot
we'll
of
actually do
contradictory
it to
information.
make people?
Where do you see yourself 10 years from now?
What day is it? 10 years from now, so I'll be 48.
I will still be 33,
It's perfect.
maybe even 23.
48. I hope I'm still having fucking fun. That's a big one. And I hope that fun, do I picture doing the same shit I'm currently doing now? Probably not. Maybe in some capacity. I mean, maybe hate has continued to grow and become a thing, and now I'm doing a very different role in a company that size and doing way more CEO work. That would be interesting if it grew to that point that's what it was requiring from me. I think more with habit, I think is a good opportunity in the next 10 years. I hope to have built and sold a couple things business-wise, as well as some property. I think I'll have some more investment in real estate to have more income coming in so that I don't have to bank on this thing.
Yeah, for me, absolutely more involvement and stuff going on with habit for sure, because I know that's something we could really, really grow. And I also love the idea of more real estate because I know that fitness is not a forever thing. And that's a route that I definitely am interested in going.
Have you tried switching into the cool drug guy role?
Yeah, I don't know.
Who barely works out anymore?
How does the cool drug girl role work? Is anyone doing that in our space? If you are, DM me. Let's talk.
Could be you.
Could be you. Amazing that you
But that's
make
not
that
all.
work.
Amazing.
But yeah, hopefully generalities, happy, having fun, kicking ass. Hopefully I've traveled to a ton more places
I mean, I hope I'm fucking off with more of my time. I mean, you know, I don't know. Even that, right? Because it's tough to be honest about that. Because honestly, right now, I fuck off as much as I want to.
Yeah.
I want to do the job at the pace I'm doing it. I fucking love it. And it's working. So it's super fun to want to do more. And if work is still doing that and it's that fulfilling, or the podcast has grown, or any of those type of things by the time I'm 48, I'm still absolutely working like a fucking maniac.
Of course, yeah, because you've seen that it works. And I think with questions like that, the 5 years or 10 years or whatever that may be.
And then we're 2 years from Bali.
Yeah.
Punch out of 50, we're fucking done.
We could punch out to go live in Bali way sooner.
Fuck yeah, like tomorrow.
That's always in the back. We could just pull that cord if we want
Just
to.
to fucking punch everyone into this. Recently all right. So mindset wise, I like things that I don't have to do out of obligation. We've discussed that. And so even Hate Brand and the workload that comes with that, Habit Coffee, the podcast, making the YouTube content, all of these things that work for me in conjunction to make a living at this thing. It's work. I really love it. I love that it's creative, but it is work and it gets frustrating. So just as a curious of like, yo, what amount of money equals we don't have to work anymore? And I know what that equals to live in the States, and I most likely won't ever get there. Especially not to live the way we like living, which is the other part of it. I'm not trying to retire and hang out at the house and only watch movies and get high. I like traveling. So I looked up cost of living in Bali, as we're going to Bali in October. With Trova Trip, which I'm super stoked on, by the way.
Them wanting to work with us is like a dream come true for me.
I can't believe we get to fucking do this. So silly. So going to Bali. So I looked up cost of living in Bali because I know it's cheap anyway. And like what I found is that you can kind of live like an 8 out of 10 luxury life. So that's like someone coming to wash all your clothes, do all your laundry, do your house cleaning. Essentially, we don't have to chore ever.
We have a remote boy.
Probably. Remote boys.
Yes. Change the channel,
Fella.
young man.
And then like looking at property too, like it's it's so ridiculously cheap.
So yeah, we would sell everything we own.
Yeah. So like I found out $100,000 can buy you an 8 out of 10 luxury lifestyle for a decade. So theoretically, if we liquidate and sell everything, look, I'm 38. Do I think if I ride it out and we punch out to Indonesia tomorrow, am I going to knock out 40 years in Indonesia? I doubt it. Well, Father Time is going to catch me before 40 years gets there of me living on that side of the planet, living like a crazy person.
Yeah, it's always an option. I think Brant is fully in, so, whenever we're ready.
Brant is cheap enough. If you have a lady friend, we can move her to Bali, but that's on her. She pays for her own flight. Rule number 1.
They have to pay for the flight.
Dude, I could absolutely do that. And like we were looking at houses and stuff like that in Bali. And it's fucking ridiculous.
Brant, we need to show you this Airbnb in Bali we found for $60 a night. Make sure Matt shows you.
Is it just ridiculous?
Dude, yeah. So we need to figure out how long we're going to stay in Bali after the Trova thing.
Okay.
And we'll just rent one of those villas and fucking live like dickheads for a week.
Yeah.
Michael Carlos, 206. Does having big legs make his penis look smaller?
Do you think he's asking you this or he's asking me this?
Probably me.
Okay, so does your larger legs...
Do your larger legs?
Okay.
Wait, whose penis are we talking about?
I didn't know if because like, like if you had tiny hands, it would make my penis look bigger. So do you have big legs and it makes my penis smaller?
I don't think that's how he
I
meant
like the
it.
way you guys just
That's not
turned
how
this
he meant it?
question
I don't think
into
so.
the complicated mess that you did.
Welcome to Matt Vincent's Head.
Guess what? I like his legs and his penis, and it's all very good.
Nice. Which one's the more impressive size?
Oh, geez. Have you seen your quads?
That means my legs.
They are kind of
It's
ridiculous.
not my penis.
Quads are
My
pretty
penis
good.
is very adequate.
Also, have you seen all the veins in his legs?
I don't know where those have come from.
Incredible.
It's pretty crazy.
I've been drawing them in.
Moving on, Brant. Give us a scroll.
Get Reezy.
Wait, what happened?
Oh, her shit's not. That's not
Oh,
good.
we're on the next one.
Next
Give
one.
us a clickety click.
Not bad.
A clack.
As we had reached the end.
All right. I think this is the last page of questions. Yeah. Jim Shoe? 7. How do you know you want to spend the rest of your life with the other person?
I'll let you pull that one first.
Well, if things keep being as awesome and as fun and as happy and as in love as we are now, of course, this whole thing we got going on, feeling this way and operating this way forever would be fantastic. I like spending my time with Matt more than I like being alone.
That's fair.
That's pretty much what it boils down to, right?
But I also like being alone.
I've also dated a lot of other people, and I know that I don't want to hang out with them anymore. But also, forever is a tricky one, right? Like, we don't know if we're going to feel the same way in 10 years or 15 years or whatever that might be.
How dare us?
That's why, like, those marriage vows are crazy to me. Crazy to me, till death do us part. Like, how the fuck do you know? You don't know. So I think both of us feel exactly the same way on that. Like, man, if it could be this way and this amazing forever, fuck yeah. But at the same time, we just don't know. You don't know how you're going to feel. You don't know what paths you're going to go down. You don't know any of that.
I mean, how do you know you want to spend the rest of your life with the other person? I could give you the answers that I thought I had in my 20s. And it's about, finding that person that you can't live without. And
But I can live without you.
I don't think that's the right
this
mentality
is,
anymore.
Nope. That is the answers I would have had in my 20s.
I can live without you, and
that,
you can
that
live
you
without
find
me.
that person that just always is that you want around, that you have that, right? And at the end of the day, no, that's true, man. You don't know. You don't know. The only thing you can do, and this is it. This is all we're fucking trying to do. Is find someone you enjoy being around that makes you want to be a better person, and fucking hang out with them as much as you can. That's it.
Yeah. And everything I said.
Yeah. I mean, you don't fucking know. And so that's probably one of the shittier pieces of baggage, back to that other question that comes with a divorce, is I'm aware that it can go from really good and feeling like this is forever and perfect to not. And pretending that I haven't had that experience and then pretending that that isn't real isn't doing any justice to it, nor is it being honest to this relationship. And with that said, because I'm aware of that future possibility, that makes now really important, because things are awesome. And so I want to keep them that way, and I give a shit about it. I don't know how things are tomorrow. I also don't know if I get hit by a fucking bus. And so spend the rest of my life with, man, it's a weird. I choose you today, and I'll choose you tomorrow. That's what I know. I want you. So I just hope that's for a super long time. And if not, it's her fault.
Perfect.
Down. Skip it.
Skip it.
Haggy baby. If arguing / disagreeing, what tools allow for a productive conversation without a blowout? I'm not ever someone to do a blowout.
Same.
My less than ideal coping mechanism is the complete opposite. I will shut down, self-isolate, and not talk. And luckily, I am with someone who constantly encourages communication, and that has been really, really, really helpful for me. Just work on expressing my emotions and putting words and finding the why to my emotions. So I'm very grateful that Matt is that way, because he would never let me walk away. It's like, nuh-uh, sit down, talk to me. We're going to figure this out. I can think of multiple times where you've said that, talk to me. And sometimes it can be hard for me because I have a lot working against that I've been working on trying to change and get better with my emotions and expressing how I feel and why I feel that way. So, yeah, the blowout, the whole blowout thing just isn't us at all.
Past that point in my life. I didn't solve any problems when I was trying to fix things that way.
Like
when I was an idiot.
More about this.
And so I don't try to solve problems that way anymore. Yelling and picking a fight or fucking do any of that, or being passive aggressive, or feeling that need that you want to hurt your partner's feelings for whatever gratifying reason. Like I'm done with it. If I have to fucking hang out with someone like that, I don't want to be around.
Also, I can think of an instance where we had disagreed on this thing and we're kind of just talking in circles at one point, because both of us felt very strongly about the way we felt. And both of us felt justified in feeling the way we felt. And at one point, like, I remember Matt just being like, well, okay, we feel differently. Yep. And I'm just like, what? No, no. Like, we need to be
I respect the way you feel.
We need to be on the same page. Because for me, I mean, we're on the same page when it comes to basically everything. So for us to not line up on a thing, I was kind of thrown off. And it was kind of just left at that. Like, okay, this is a thing we disagree on, and that's okay.
Well, I mean, so for me,
it also wasn't like a huge, massive thing.
This was a thing that didn't matter in 48 more hours.
Right.
And so if it's not around Monday, I don't give a shit.
Right. I'm not everything can be left to agree to disagree. But this was one thing that Matt was like, oh, it's actually okay to not agree on this.
Right.
I'm like, what?
But I guess I don't know anymore. Like, what are people arguing about and getting like loud with each other about in a relationship? I guess.
I don't know. I've never been that person.
It's been a long time, and it's been such a long time that the problems that I would have yelled at back then, I just don't
look ridiculous.
They
now,
look ridiculous.
Right?
They look like, what the fuck are we yelling about?
Yeah. So,
but also, so with that said, during that time in my life that I would have been more that way and faster to yell and more argumentative and more of those things, I also was highly stressed out. Work was a fucking fight. I wasn't terribly happy. I wasn't living the life I wanted to be living. And I was fat and not taking great care of myself. Big fucking shock that all those things kind of fall in line, right?
Yes, there's so many other factors beyond your partner.
That hurt people, right? Mm-hmm. That I'm in a shitty spot. I'm not happy. I'm trying to figure things out. I'm stressed. We're not making any fucking money. Everything's a bigger deal than it needs to be.
Oh, that also, fuse is so much shorter.
I mean, I guess like if I wanted to go out with the boys or something and you didn't want me to, that's the thing we would fight about, but I don't fucking get that either.
No.
Because
nor does that seem like a thing to be upset about.
Right. Also,
I'm pretty rational.
I mean, for the most part, like, you don't get a vote in my day and I don't get one in yours. It's mostly like, hey, what do you have going on today? I have this. And I go, I have these things. And then that's that. There's never an opinion about like what you need to get done.
Or like a where are you or what time you're going to be home.
Never.
Can you imagine?
Oh, I can't.
No, yeah, that's always I think a nighttime conversation talking about what we have going on the next day.
And then basically as soon as we part ways, that's it. Like we don't check in much during the day.
No, I mean, unless there's a thing that we're both doing like this or a photo shoot or like some, yeah. But yeah, no, neither of us get a say. We operate pretty independently throughout the day, and then we link up for dinner and date night in the basement.
Date night in the basement. We date every night.
It's
pretty great.
Mm-hmm.
Want to do that one? Or?
Scroll.
Do Emily Dale. We'll do that.
Emily Dale, views on open relationships. Ooh.
So,
we have a couple friends that have lived this lifestyle.
Known some people who have successfully done it, who've navigated those waters. And look, I don't think it's fair. Like, okay, so Aubrey being one who's now in a monogamous marriage. I wouldn't say that it didn't work. I would say that time was done, because no one has a fucking marriage that fails and they say monogamy was the reason it fucking fell apart.
Right.
So it's not fair to say that whatever the open thing he was doing, even though it has 7-year relationship, was a failure. Like, I don't believe that's true. I think they learned a ton and became who they are, and it got them to where they are, and they're happy. So, so for me, after kind of being around it and getting firsthand experience, and I've never lived that way, but I'd made it through it in my head, and I think that's one of the reasons, like, the whole jealousy thing for me is gone. It's just because I saw the way that worked, and I saw what a fucking waste of time jealousy would be with your partner, especially if in these situations, right? That if my partner's being made happy and that makes me mad, that's probably something I need to check.
Yeah, no doubt.
Like, don't you want your partner happy, or I'm sorry, are you the only one allowed to provide happiness to your partner?
Right. Yeah.
And I get where the lines at sex.
Mm-hmm.
And I get that. I get that thing.
The physical intimacy.
Yeah, I get the physical intimacy of it. But you and I have talked about it a lot, that what I really saw that they were doing really well was intimate connections. It wasn't just that they had the physical option of different partners for sex. It was that they were a fucking group. Like, they're in love with each other. And that's something that I've taken away that I think's very important. And the relationships that we have with friends and everything, I find to be very intimate. I fucking love our friends to death.
It's more of a tribe.
Yeah, for an overused word, I fully agree. You know, that's what it is, though. That's what it feels like. It feels like a bunch of people who are rooting for each other, who feed off of each other's success and happiness, and it just feels so right. And a lot of that is being vulnerable with each other and sharing stuff and being able to, present problems to someone else who has, maybe more experience than you in a thing, and checking your ego to learn what you can from the people you're around.
Mm-hmm. None of those people operating that way have been kind of rude or ungrateful. Like, all of those are just amazing, happy,
they're the best,
generous people.
They're also not bitter. They're not shitty with their partners. Had I not been as exposed to Aubrey and his thing, no fucking way I'm still cool with Ashley. I wouldn't have done it. There's no way I could have been able to handle that. I would have fallen in line with it. Like, this thing's done. Like, I can't ever talk to that person again. And I would have built some wall. And it's not fucking easy. There's a big shared history. But I know overall my life's better. And I don't want to put that block in place because of some fucking weird temporary bullshit.
And the other thing that, we've learned by being exposed to it more is, like, the open part is not the partners. The open part is the communication.
The open part is all communication. Mm-hmm. And that...
nothing is off limits to discuss.
And that's exactly right, because it has to be in that thing where I have to talk to you about other people you would be having sex with. And so if you're having those conversations, like, what the fuck else is off limits?
Right. Not shit.
And also being okay with you venting to me about a boyfriend. Oof. Right? Like, that's how it fucking goes. Mm-hmm. And there's a lot to deal with there. There's a lot to check your own shit with. I
think it's also tricky. I mean, and so much of that is dependent on the relationship and where you guys are. Like, we know this isn't a thing for us right now, 2 years in. How do we feel 10 years? We don't know.
Right.
Back to that, we just don't know.
And that's another thing I love about you, is that there isn't this, that you don't speak in absolutes about stuff like that. That you'll just say, like, look, I don't hate it just because of what it is. I don't know.
Right. And I think both of us are very aware that you can care very deeply about more than one person at a time.
Right. That love isn't a scarce commodity.
Right.
The only one that is time, and that gets tricky.
That gets tricky. But yeah, both of us are aware enough to be able to say that. So, I mean, who knows?
Fucking knows, dude?
Who knows?
I mean,
kudos to anyone out there making it work and doing it successfully. Because I imagine it's a tricky road to navigate. But again, all that is going back to communication and figuring it out.
I mean, I think about Kyle Kingsbury and Natasha and their whole thing. Mm-hmm. And whether that's weird because they're raising kids, or it's not weird. It's what other people find. Meanwhile, I mean, how many fucking kids are in a house where their parents are mad at each other and screaming all the fucking time?
Yeah, that is not the vibe there.
I mean, there, Brant, you went with us to the Kingsburys, and that's a different experience of a house you've ever been in.
I think there's more going on than just the open relationship. Because they're definitely, it's what would it be?
They're more switched on.
Very natural.
Yeah.
Like it's very. Yeah, I don't know. The word for me is just natural. It just feels
a bit more hippie.
It just feels very earthy. Like it just feels
earthy.
Like I don't know. It just feels. Yeah, that's.
I mean, if you're saying that tribe is the word, it's the word.
Tribe is probably a pretty good word, and so I mean, it's different for sure. It was definitely a really different experience for me because I've never seen anything like that.
But
before.
no one's bummed.
So, no. Everyone, dude. I've never seen like the kid alone. Sorry, what was his name? Bear. Yeah. He, like just the way he was with me, like I think you guys have kind of said like he's just so much like love. Like he just has never not known what love is essentially, and it's just like
also not scared to show it to people who've been welcomed
that's
into
what I'm
his
saying,
house.
Is he, like me? He was very like comfortable with me, like around me, and like the way he would just interact with me compared to like how I see other kids are, where they're very shy and very timid and like they don't want to like they hide behind their parents and stuff like that. And this kid was just instantly like just grabs my face. You're awesome, just like you're so cool or whatever.
Well,
and
I mean,
just,
think
like,
about
just
growing
super
up.
stoked,
I mean, think about growing up that way and not having the fear response.
Yeah, that kid has never been mistreated by an adult.
But then, like watching
that love him.
But then watching him like play with his dad and stuff, like watching them play together, like it's not like he's just like if he messes with his dad or something, his dad like puts him in a freaking judo whatever,
right,
and I'm just like it's. I don't know. It's not like he's beating him up or something like that. But he's also the kid isn't like a pushover either.
No.
Like he's being raised super like in a super different way than I ever been raised. But like,
Same.
dude, he's gonna be fucking great. Like,
right, it's crazy to see that. You were
mean?
like, yo, he's fine.
Like, oh, dude, like as soon as I saw like how they were like wrestling on the ground, I'm like, oh, this kid's.
Yeah, he'll be knowledgeable in nutrition.
He's toughening him up.
he'll be physically capable.
Oh yeah.
He'll be educated.
Oh yeah.
Emotionally intelligent.
And emotionally intelligent.
Oh yeah.
That fucking kid's unstoppable.
Oh yeah. That kid's gonna fucking rule the world.
He's got all the tools.
So it was really cool to see because I've never seen anything like that before.
Yeah, man. That's probably one of the bigger things for me, just how eye-opening it's been to see different ways that work than like what I grew up with.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I would even say, like, just from my experience and just seeing your guys' relationship was so different for me.
That's true, yeah.
Because I've only seen a very, like, I mean, just your relationship, like you were saying, just with Ashley, how you're still friends. Like, I didn't think that was a thing that was, like, allowed.
I remember the first time you heard me talk to Ashley and you're like, that's your ex-wife?
I was like, that's, yeah.
Yeah, and you're like, huh.
I was like, I didn't know. I'm like, that's weird.
Why were y'all cool?
Yeah, I'm just like, I didn't know, adults or parents, or however you want to say it, like, just could be cool after not being together anymore. I thought you just hate each other's guts.
Yep.
So, yeah, but.
Barrett 1067. What do you do to maintain a healthy relationship building your lives in this industry? I feel like we kind of covered it. I mean, we openly communicate about everything we want to do. We're directionally we want to head. We still take time to make good sex.
Yeah, I think that's what it comes down to. Not necessarily just sex, but making the time.
Yeah.
Because I've been trying to be in the really good habit of like putting my phone down at 6 and making sure that we have our together time in the evenings, whatever we choose to spend that time doing. And I think really just making time for your partner is everything, because our lives have been really busy and are really busy and are only going to get busier. And we travel with a crew, like we travel with a media crew. So like even then there truly isn't alone time. So I think making sure that you get it and making sure that time really stays sacred and important to the relationship.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. I sure like you.
I like you.
Perfect.
Keep doing this.
Okay.
Okay.
What else we got? That it, Brant?
Yeah, that was it. That was the last one.
Fuck, that's it.
That's it.
Thank you guys for listening. This is a lovely Bonchero. And order delicious Delta flour, Delta H from the Unicorn brand at Oregon Originals. Use code UMSO and save yourself money on delicious
Delta H.
CBD marijuana products. And look, you guys saw me smoke a ton of it. For how long will we do that, Brant?
This podcast?
Yeah.
Hour 40.
Hour and 40 minutes. And I'm still holding it way together. If I was smoking full gas, not so good.
I would have stopped talking 45 minutes
Just
ago.
staring at me, wondering why we're not done yet. Anyway, thank you guys for listening. Go ahead and leave us a review and a 5 stars on iTunes. It does help us out a ton. And check out all the other sponsors that are normally on the podcast. We have Hybrid Performance Method, Power Dot, Eat Right Foods, Chili Sleep, and Hate Brand Goods and Habit Coffee. Thank you guys again. Spread hate, always party.